Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're setting up my February bullet journal. This month's theme is Sip Sip February. So this month it's all about staying hydrated, refilling your cup, and making gentle changes in how I eat and take care of myself. Nothing extreme, just small, sustainable shifts. For me, this has been something I've been struggling with for years off and on. Because I'll start off going very well, keeping up with my goals, doing everything that I'm saying that I'm going to do, and then I'll have a bad day or I have a bad few days, and it's just like, oh, well, let me just hop off the bandwagon and I'll come back to this at a better time. And what I'm realizing is that there is never a better time than right now. But I had to take stock of some of the things that were stopping me. One thing were these apps that always wanted to charge just a little bit more for just a little bit less, or if they put some kind of arbitrary stone in the road. For example, I had used one app and then all of a sudden I had all the features that I started off with, and then all of a sudden all the features were turned off, and it was just like, oh, you only can use AI calorie counting, or you can only use the AI thing. And it's just like, I don't want to train your AI. I just want to use the app for the part that I know that works for me. I was paying for it. What's the problem? So had to turn that off. Then I used a different app, and every time I pressed the button, an ad popped up. And don't get me wrong, I understand monetization, but I don't want to click on a hydration tracker and then just as soon as my finger hits the hydration tracker, I get an ad for a water bottle. Please, please, please save me. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm doing something new this month, and I've actually built my own app that I'm going to be using, and I'm bringing that into my bullet journal theme. So the name of my app is Melo, and it's my own habit and nutrition tracker. I built it because honestly I was just overwhelmed by all the other apps that were out there. Like I just said, a lot of trackers had tons of lessons and they had these forced features, and it just felt more like homework versus just me doing my own thing. I just wanted something that could meet me where I am, help me build better habits, and not take over my entire life. And that's exactly the energy that I'm bringing into Sip Sip February. Okay, so on to the 2-page calendar spread. So my layout is always pretty simple and clean. I didn't even show you drawing the squares because it's the same thing. And this was a pretty neat month in the fact that everything was relatively even and I only had this few weeks. So in honor of the whole water part and honoring the fact that I need to be drinking more water, I am making this whole page dedicated to water. And so I'm drawing water. I have little water bubbles and I'm keeping it clean. I have plenty of room to write out like any events, plans that I have, and a few of my habits. So, but in terms of the habits, I'm only stating what the habit is so that I can make sure that I'm tracking it in Melo. So in the past, I've always struggled with trackers in my book because I don't always carry my journal with me to the point of writing in it. Like I might have it with me, but I might not be writing because that's just how my day goes. But I do keep my phone, and I have noticed that tracking in my phone keeps a better track of what I'm doing currently, presently, versus what I do with my journal, which is I do it before I go to bed or I do it first thing in the morning. So I was always behind trying to track that way, and it just did not work. That's why I'm going with this phone tracking. So this is where I tie Melo in to everything that I'm doing. I've tried the wellness trackers, I've tried the food tracking apps, and they were just super duper intense. I had to go through a whole course just to start, or I felt like I was constantly having to keep up with streaks, or I would have to pay for a streak breaker. And like not only is the app judging me, but like I'm judging myself because why am I not keeping up with these streaks? So anyway, I wanted something that would let me track my meals, track my habits, and track my water in a really simple, like human-centered way. No guilt, nothing complicated, just aware of what I was doing and letting me handle the rest so that the habits actually stick with me and I'm not just playing a game. So I built Melo specifically to meet people where they are. If you only have the energy to log tacos and water today, that's enough. If you want to add notes about how you feel about certain meals, I'll be adding that too. It fits into your life instead of demanding to be your whole life. So one of my big things for February is going to be more meal tracking, but I'm doing it in a way that feels gentle and realistic to me. I'm not obsessively counting every calorie, but I'm going to be kind of using it like a food journal. When I log a meal, I'll know what I ate, and I'll just, it has the calorie counter that goes to it, and that's going to be about it. Over time, it has helped me notice a couple of patterns. Like, what I've noticed is that I try to make every meal the big meal instead of just like having a small meal here, a small meal there, and just eating a bigger dinner. I've noticed that every single meal that I have is the big meal and not smaller meals throughout the day. Like, I could just eat fruit for breakfast and that can be it. I could just eat a sandwich for lunch and that could be it. And then I could have big dinner with everybody else at home. And that's something that I had not noticed before. Before, I'm eating like a McDonald's meal for lunch and then I'm coming home and eating big dinner. And I didn't realize that one thing from McDonald's can be like 1,200 calories in and of itself. Like, come on. A child wouldn't even need to eat anything else in a whole day. But anyway. So I've definitely noticed. I'm also using Melo to track my water, which ties perfectly into my Sip Sip February theme, because I've noticed that I can go a whole day without drinking water at home, but I'll drink all my water in the daytime at work. Or the opposite, I might not drink any water at work. I might not drink anything at work, which isn't healthy, and I've noticed, but I might drink a glass or two of water at home. That's also not healthy. Like, come on, this is crazy. So when you see all these little water doodles in my journal, just know that Melo is doing the behind the scenes tracking for me, because I have definitely got to improve my relationship with water. Throughout this setup, you've seen me use an acrylic pen for a lot of the white, and you've seen me use a white gel pen and an acrylic white pen and a white colored pencil to draw the bubbles in the water. It wasn't too hard, but I actually learned this technique by a coloring book for alcohol markers, and I thought it was really neat. Like, you use an acrylic pen for literally everything, for all the highlights, and that just makes everything look so much better. It makes me actually look a little bit like an artist now. Now I'm just going to add some shadow to the February. I guess it's not like shadow per se, but it kind of is. I'm just adding some yellow to make that purple pop. And then I'm going to draw in the days of the week. That is something that I find that I frequently forget. I'm not going to forget it this month. I'm putting it in there. Better mindfulness, better habits. Almost didn't make it with that Saturday block, but we got it in. I didn't want to have to find out what would happen if I had to draw over that water. Now I'm just going to come back in with the white acrylic pen and write in those days over that green. I find that the acrylic pen does me a lot better than the white gel pen. The white gel pen, I'll have to write something out 2 or 3 times, or I won't notice that it's actually written anything until the white ink has dried, and that's just not usable. The acrylic does this a lot better. I wish I would have found an acrylic pen a lot earlier in life. And here I'm just going to write out whatever my goals are and my habits. But again, I'm going to track them in Melo. And now time for writing in the dates. So this is a playful part of the calendar where I just dot the colors. I thought about different things that I could do. Like, I was going to do like water drops or maybe mint leaves and lemons. But at the end of the day, I was just like, that's such a small spot, and I'm going to write over it with the date. So let me just do little dots, and it makes the page look colorful and playful. So, and that makes me want to open up the book and see it. And it should be relatively clean I'm going to reference this page all throughout the month. Okay, so now that we're done with the calendar, let's move over to my weekly. I'm keeping this month simple. I'm keeping it straight. I don't have a whole bunch of extra pages this month because I am doing more tracking in my phone using Melo. So I found that I'm just going to do the calendar and I'm going to do my weeklies, and that might be it. We'll see. So this weekly setup is set up to be really functional and aligned with the habits that I'm working on. I've got space for my daily to-dos and different notes. I know that I'm going to be having my water tracker on my phone, and then for each one of these days I've left enough space to have maybe some meal tracking, but I'm also going to be doing that mostly in the app. In the app, I'll be doing the meal tracking for what I ate and the calories that go with it, and here I might just write down what it is that I ate just to kind of reflect on that so I can have it in both places. In Melo, the meal log is super simple. I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks, and that's about it. I'm not writing down full recipes or macros or anything like that, although, I could track macros if I wanted to. And it's more like a quick snapshot of what's happened at the day. My plan for the tracking is still new, and I'm still going to work out the kinks in my own personal plan. But for real, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is to slowly build habits that feel natural. If I miss a day, I don't ruin it. I don't ruin the month. I don't ruin the week. I just pick up on the next day, and I track again. Take another sip, and I keep going. And that's it. The phrase "sip sip February" is my reminder that progress can be slow and steady. I don't have to change everything in 1 week. I can just keep choosing small supportive actions: a glass of water instead of another soda, a real lunch instead of grazing, 5 seconds to log a meal instead of pretending I'll remember it later. So having Melo and my bullet journal work together makes the process feel softer and more ingrained and personally aligned to who I am. Melo will hold on to the data, and my bullet journal will hold on to the story. If you're interested in tracking your meals or habits in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming, definitely check out Melo. I have more videos showing how I use it alongside my journal, but I'll leave a link in the description if you want to start playing around with it now. And let me know in the comments what your February theme is, and if you're doing any kind of food tracking or habit tracking this month. Okay, now that we're done with the setup, let's go through the final flip through. This month I kept it light and simple so that I could have more time to just freely write in my journal. I kept everything light and playful and kind of bouncy so that I would be reminded to stay with my goals. This is basically just a big reminder that I don't have to make huge changes. I don't have to overhaul my life. I just need to do it one thing at a time. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all again next month.